Hey guys, Blocktrain here with another bi-weekly crypto recap, and it's been a pretty great day today. You guys have probably already, heard about it or known, or even if you've even looked at the charts, you realize there's a big change in the Bitcoin price. Right now, it's at around $7,800. Now, so basically, the news is within about 1 hour, Bitcoin jumped all the way from $6,900 up to around $8,000. Now that's a huge price increase. That's about 15% just for an hour. That's 16 minutes. That's crazy. And for the most part, if you guys have watched my last crypto recap, I was talking about how we were going through some sideways movement, how we were going up and down, kind of alternating between the 7,000s and the mid 6,000s, not really going below the bottom of around 6,400 that we met in February. And it was getting increasingly closer, and the general consensus of everybody who was analyzing the charts was, a breakout is coming, but in which direction, we're not sure. Now, today is obviously a great sign for, that bullish kind of mindset. We're breaking out into a new bull market. Now, we've only been in this bear market for about 4 months. So, that's a relatively short time, as far as markets are concerned. So I still think it's too early to say we're completely out of our, the bearish market, but this is certainly a great sign. And although I am hesitant to say, we're totally out of, a bearish market, I do think we're heading towards a bullish market right now. And that's just because, you're looking at, graphs like these, sideways movement has been happening for a couple of weeks, and just the general consensus or the general feel of crypto right now is that, hey, we're kind of out of our bear market. And as you know, crypto right now, they're not really decided by fundamentals or any innate valuation, but rather by hype, by general feel. And that's what a bubble kind of does. And I do believe that we're still in a bubble, just in terms of price in relation to fundamental value. Not a bad thing. Happens to a bunch of technologies, and there's a lot of money to be made, when you're in this type of bubble. And I think Bitcoin still has a long way to go before the bubble truly pops. So that said, let's get into coin market cap, and then I'll talk about some of the news. So across the board, great day. See, one of the reasons why I think we're approaching a bullish market is because, looking at graphs like this for 30% gains, 40% gains, 97% gains. The last time we saw this was when, we were gearing up towards that December bull market, towards that insane gain type of market that people, that we all experienced, that we were all hyped about, and then everything crashed. And you don't see these types of gains in a bearish market, in my opinion, just because we saw what happens in the bearish market. Even when there was that reversal from that 6,400 back up to, I think, about 910,000, 9,000, 10,000, we didn't see gains like this. We saw, slow and steady gains for the most part back up, or, well, actually pretty fast, but we didn't see altcoins, getting this boom across the board. And for the most part, I think this is a really good sign, just because we've been going through that sideways movement. We've been kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. While before, if you look at the news around that period of time when we found that bottom of 6,400 and we started going back up, there was a lot of talk of, hey, this is a bull trap. Hey, we're not done yet. Things aren't done yet. But now it seems as if sentiment has shifted. Biggest winners across the board. We got Loopring over here. We got 8share. Which one's the 90% one? Let's see. Bitcoin Private. That's ridiculous. Okay. Bitcoin Private. Steam. I actually really like the Steam coin. Omise Go. Great coin. Deserved. As you guys know, I've made a coin review of that earlier, and OMG is going places. 40%. IOTA. 26.92%. I don't really want to comment on IOTA. Don't know too much about that. Cardano, really don't like this coin, but still pretty good gains. And Ethereum has really rallied from below their $400 point, and now Ethereum's almost back to $500. And I actually want to make a video later on about the Ethereum partnership. Well, not partnership, but Ethereum, Omisego, and the DAI coin, the DAI stable coin, because I think that's actually a huge thing to be looking at, just because stable coins are so valuable. And with the suspicion around Tether that's been going on for the past year even, We're we're really in the people are really jonesing for another stable coin, and I think Daicoin could really be it. If you look into it, there's a lot of complicated mechanisms and collateral that go into making sure the Dai stablecoin is stable. But for the most part, it's been working out. As you know, we've been in a very volatile market, and so far the coin has been steady. So that said, let's get into the news, and I wanted to talk about why Bitcoin's price rose so much today. And so the general consensus, or like, at least the idea, is that there were a bunch of liquidated shorts one after another. So if you don't know what that means, here's what it means. So a short is basically when you bet against the market. You make a bet with someone and say, hey, I think the price is going to go down, and if it does go down, I make money off of that. But if the price goes up, I start losing money. And so what happens is you pay fees at whenever you have your short position. You pay consistent fees, and when the price goes up, you have no guarantee that the price will go back down, and you keep having to pay those fees until you close your short. But when you close your short, you actually have to buy the amount of Bitcoin that you're shorting against at the price that it is when it goes up. So the idea is that the prices are going up. People who had shorts were saying, "Oh crap, we might be going up." So what they did was they said, "Okay, I'm not going to pay these fees anymore. I'm just going to take this loss and I'm going to buy the Bitcoin at that increased price." And because there are so many shorts and so many people liquidating them and buying Bitcoin at these increased prices, it caused the price to go even higher. Then the shorts that were at that level decided to liquidate there. Then it went higher and higher and higher. So the idea is that there was a chain of liquidated shorts that caused that price to go up so rapidly. And for the most part, I think that makes sense. And I actually think it's really funny just because, a lot of people were saying, okay, the market is going to go down from that. Like I was saying, there are people really anticipating a big market move one way or the other. And for so many people to short things, to short Bitcoin, expect the price to go down, and for that to have the exact opposite effect to this profound degree, I think is really great and pretty funny. And I wanted to talk about just the general sentiment of crypto. If you've been around the cryptocurrency communities, I spend most of my time, if I'm not doing my own research, looking through websites and reading through white papers, I spend a lot of my time looking through subreddits, through the general cryptocurrencies Reddit, and going through individual coin telegrams and Slack groups. And in general, sentiment is, the bull market is back. Now, of course, the crypto community is notorious for being a little too early about these things, for getting a little too hype. But at the same time, Bitcoin, altcoins, their price is mostly made up of hype. And we can see that because of coins that have, very little going on, but a bunch of hype behind them, and they're getting billions in market cap. And so, for the most part, I think if there's this kind of big sentiment shift in crypto, for example, the past month we've been seeing a lot of, hey, I'm selling, hey, when is this bear market going to be over, hey, this sucks, basically. And now, within a day, we're seeing this quick change in sentiment. I think really shows that most people think that Bitcoin has found the bottom. And as you know, markets in the short term are irrational. And what the general consensus is generally happens. So that's why personally I think Bitcoin has bottomed out. There are of course a lot of people who agree with me and also a lot of people who disagree with me. And really it's your call. You just have to get all the sources that you can and make your own educated opinion. So that's it. I just wanted to, talk about some of the people. Pantera Capital is saying, hey, Bitcoin has bottomed out. Future gains impending. JP Morgan Trader, Bitcoin is the play at the moment. Just people who agree with me. But again, I honestly haven't really seen anyone in these news sites when they're doing their analysis saying, hey, Bitcoin is going to keep going down. But I have seen, some bearish sentiment across the forums that I frequent. So, again, anybody's choice. They're really up to you and what you think. Nobody knows what the market is going to do. You can only speculate and hope that you're right. And really, that's the best anyone can do. So that said, I wanted to talk about just the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency markets in general, just because, well, as you can see here, EOS leads pack as top 10 cryptos see price upticks. Now, I haven't really talked about scam coins or, these hype coins that don't really have much underlying tech value behind them. But in general, I really dislike these coins just because they show the irrationality of the crypto markets. Like I said, there's a lot of money to be made when a bubble like this is here. And if you look at the dot-com bubble, it happened over a span of 10 years. And that was after people started to realize that the internet was going to be a huge thing. The internet started, the military created it, but once it got into the mainstream, which blockchain did only this year, then it really started blowing up. Publicly traded stocks started coming out like rapid fire, and there's really no substance behind these companies. And that's what I see happening with a lot of what crypto is about. And on one side, I'm excited because, there have been insane gains just, in general across the board for the internet.com boom and also for these blockchain booms. And I think we're going to get to, the trillion, 2 trillion, 3 trillion market cap for the entire crypto markets before we see some kind of, mass sell-off. And even this, the run from the pop, I guess, from 800 billion to 300 billion or so in these past 4 months, that's really nothing compared to what happens when when regulation comes in, when institutional investors come in and just hype surrounds everyone and the prices just skyrocket. And this is something I really think that's going to happen with cryptos, just because it's almost identical in my mind to the dot-com boom, just because you have so many similarities in terms of the potential for changes to the financial world, just to the world in general, and specifically blockchain because it has so much influence in finance that a lot of bankers and people like that will already know about it, will understand its potential, and be even more excited to get in. As we've seen, like Kodak said they were going to make a blockchain, and their stock price saw 100% increase. That's crazy for the stock market, but that's what happened. And so, in general, I think this is right now we're kind of in a waiting period. Even with Bitcoin's $1,000 price rise, I really think that's nothing compared to what's to come once the dust kind of settles, regulation comes in, countries start making their policies and allowing institutional investors in. That said, I wanted to talk about the general, state of the cryptocurrency market, just because coins like EOS, they really don't have much substance behind them, but they're top 15, top 20 coins. Do I recommend you invest? No comment, honestly, but it saddens me to see that coins like this are still at the top. I would like to see at least a little bit more of a rational market, just because, things like this, things like EOS, Tron, Verge. If you like those coins, I'm sorry, I personally don't. That's just based on my own opinions and my own research. If you think it's a legitimate coin, great. But seeing coins like that at the top of the CoinMarketCap page make me really sad, just because it delegitimizes a lot of people who want to talk about the market, who want to talk about the tech, and still want to price speculate and still want to make money, versus people who randomly shill, who just see something on Facebook ads or Google ads, or at least they did, or a friend that told them, and they just mindlessly hype that coin. And I think those coins get a lot more press and a lot more price increases than coins that actually have really good fundamentals. Again, a sign of an irrational market, but for the most part, I guess I can't complain just because the crypto markets have been good to me. So moving on, crypto exchange Bittrex is taking new customers again. Now this is actually hilarious, just because they were open for I think like an hour before everything was full again. And I actually think it's really interesting, just because Coinbase, Bittrex, these pretty reputable Bitcoin trading exchanges, they were dealing with a lot of demand over December, but allegedly a lot of interest in cryptocurrencies went down as the price went down, which is understandable given most people don't understand the technology and just want to get rich quick. And so it actually surprised me that Bittrex got so many registrations that they had to close down the registrations again. And I think it's actually, well, I don't know who wouldn't say it's a really good sign, just because it shows that the interest is still there, that cryptocurrency exchanges are still playing catch up. It's no longer, hey, we need new users, but it's more, hey, we want to accept new users, but there are just too many right now. And I think that's a really good position for exchanges to be in and for the market in general to be in. And again, guys, you know, institutional investors are coming in to, take their positions in this cryptocurrency market. We're seeing legitimate apps like Robinhood, like Square Cash, and Gemini by the Winklevoss brothers. They're coming in, they're trying to get a piece of the pie. So I really don't think crypto is going down in the long term anytime soon. We have nowhere to go but up. Now, this might sound like I'm pandering to all you crypto investors, but this is legitimately what I think. I really believe in cryptocurrency markets, in the cryptocurrency market right now. I think, this 80% drop in general has been really rough for us. But if you really take a look at the charts, we've lost maybe 6 months of progress. Literally 6 months of progress. That's nothing. We have years ahead of us, and really, people who have the patience and have the know-how to just either hodl or sell at the right times, they're really going to be the winners versus those people who lose their money and immediately just say this is a scam and leave. So just want to talk about, so this is actually ridiculous to me. Bank of America called Bitcoin the greatest bubble in history. Now that's just mind-boggling. Okay, that doesn't make any sense, and it just shows how stupid these banks are. I really don't understand who would say this and why they would say this. Number one, we had the dot-com bubble, had the housing bubble. There's the Chinese housing bubble, or allegedly the Chinese housing bubble, and these are all in the trillions. This impacted the world economy. The housing crash did. And here's, Bank of America coming out and saying, hey, Bitcoin with its less than $1 trillion market cap is the greatest bubble in history. Now, it honestly just confuses me just because, number one, it's definitely not true. There's no arguing that this is not true. But also, what incentive would Bank of America have to say that this is the greatest bubble in history? Like, what is their logic? And I think the idea is that most assets just don't drop this much this fast, and I guess that is something that's unique about Bitcoin. But in general, just to say this is the greatest, bubble is, number one, just factually wrong. Also really puts Bitcoin in a bad light, just because, they're saying, hey, this is worse than the housing crash, hey, this is worse than the dot-com bubble, which to an uneducated person is just mindless FUD. And, I don't like to use that word a lot just because I think it's used in the wrong context a lot of the time, but this is really just ridiculous, and it's just doesn't make any sense to me. So the last thing I want to talk about is this European startup enabling access to commercial real estate for small investors. Now, so a European company, Blocksquare.io, is developing a blockchain-based plug-and-play system to enable commercial real estate tokenization that will allow anybody with an internet connection to buy fractional ownership of assets worldwide. Now, this is something that I realized almost immediately when I heard about blockchain, that this would be a use case for tokens. And I think just across the board, this is an amazing idea. Just because, think about it this way, a lot of the complaints that happen, with first world developed countries like America, which, I live in America, are that, hey, you need money to make more money. You need money to invest in stocks, but, to buy one Amazon stock, you need $1,000. To buy real estate, you need, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 deposits, and you have to take out a loan. And there are huge barriers to entry. And so it's really hard for somebody who's, struggling on minimum wage to get a piece of that pie. And what blockchain and, Blocksquare is doing is that they're making it so even if you have small amounts of money, people who have those small amounts of money can pool their money together in a financially viable way, with governance, with all these different features of the blockchain, so that something like this is possible. So that, there's a commercial real estate worth $3 million, but you have 6 million people who own it, but when the value goes up, you're still making money. It's still a valid investment tool. And I guess I just wanted to end this bi-weekly crypto recap on a positive note, because I just think in general it's just great to end on a positive note, even if in general just the past 3 4 days since my last crypto recap have been great. The price rise has been up, but I really want you guys to get excited about the new technology coming out for blockchain, just because blockchain, what at its best is a technology for the people. One of the books I read said it best, which was the internet brought everything together, consolidated everything. Blockchain relinquishes that consolidation from the power of one person. It takes all that advantage that the internet gave and spreads it out amongst all the people. And something like this, something like Block Square IO with commercial real estate investing, small investors coming in, tokenizing it, it's a great example of that, and a great example of how blockchain can be used in a financially viable way to help everybody, to help the small people who don't have that much money, who want to get in and start investing, to grow their assets, because who doesn't want to do that? But that's right now it's a barrier for a lot of people. And that's what blockchain is. It's breaking down barriers for the average person. So that was the bi-weekly crypto market recap for today. Again, guys, it's been a pretty great day. I was smiling all day today just because of that. The liquidating shorts, I thought it was hilarious, and I just saw that price and I said, this is a good day. My altcoins are up, and overall things are just looking great. So yeah, thank you guys for watching my bi-weekly recap. I'll be back with more videos, and yeah, I hope it's been a good day for you guys as well.